Yeah, if I go like this, you can see my shoulder.
Welcome, everyone. Y'all have a good networking meeting? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me choose that. Ladies and gentlemen, gear up for a whirlwind. Here comes the dynamic dynamo, Elizaveta Ritz, but I just call her Lisa for hillbillies like me. Let me tell you, she's not the average teenager. While most 18-year-olds are busy choosing their college major, Lisa's out there choosing and producing the right products for Amazon sellers with her agency, Ritz Momentum, who's in the house. Woo! There she is. Making Amazon success is easy as picking out a Netflix show. And speaking of picks, did I mention she also drives a Tesla and has a sneaker collection that would make any sneakerhead jealous? But wait, there's more. She's recently flexed more than her entrepreneurial muscles, banking not one, but two placements in the ladies bodybuilding competition, right? Lisa's truly got the Ritz, the glitz, and the biceps to boot. Strap in, Orlando, because Miss Ritz is about to school us all on how to hustle in style. Give her a hand, guys.
Can I know who wrote that introduction? Was it ChatGPT? No, that was so good. Hey, everybody. If you have not seen me around today, it was probably because I was not here. I was preparing this for you, and trust me, I have been losing my head over how to make this fun and exciting, but also informational. Okay. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to be talking about the art of persuasion and how to ethically manipulate consumers to click add to cart. What I mean by that is not like any gray hat, middle of the line techniques, but I'm going to help you use tools that have been at your disposal forever. And some people just don't realize that they're out there. So this is not my first time at an Ecom Summit stage, but my first time was actually not speaking, it was rapping. And I don't know, has anybody seen Pitch Perfect here? It's a, okay, Lisa's seen it, but anybody know the song No Diggity? Okay, great, then you guys are not gonna be excited about me rapping about it and I don't have to do it. All right, so things we're gonna be talking about. Just normal basics, main images, copywriting, putting all that together, and then just proper hiring for that stuff because trust me, it's important. Okay, basics. Tools that are at your disposal are literally colors that we see every single day. And believe it or not, just knowing the technique behind color, you'll be able to come up with color schemes that go into your consumer subconscious and then essentially manipulate them to purchase. You could have different color schemes. One is complementary, so you look at the color wheel, colors that are opposite of one another. That's your complementary colors. Analogous colors, colors that are next to one another. Monochromatic is essentially going from brightest to the most dull part of the color. Triadic, normally literally from the word tri, so it kind of stands in like triangular shapes over there. And then I'm actually going to mention color theory. This was part of my presentation before I heard it getting mentioned at the table yesterday, but does anybody remember this dress from a long while ago? Okay, I'm not going to be starting a debate because I solely believe that it's gold and white, but it's black and blue. But essentially what color theory is it is the same color, but when it's put next to different colors, it's going to look like a different color, which is why it's really important to get good high quality pictures of your product, because if you just Photoshop it, when it's put next to different lifestyle images, it's going to look different. And when people get the product, they're going to be like, it doesn't look like what it was looking like on the main image, but you just put it next to different colors and therefore the color itself look different, even though you're not at fault. Okay, color psychology. I'm sure many of you guys have heard about that one. I'm not going to put everything in that article on there, but go to colorpsychology.org. There's so much good explanation there about what colors mean and how they're used in marketing. But red, I'm sure many of you guys have heard, urgency, speed, importance, love. Orange, so think of it like, so you have the primary colors, right, which is red, blue, yellow. And then the psychology of those colors when it comes to orange, purple, pink. Think of just combining the psychology behind those colors into the colors after, because like yellow is happiness and energy, red is urgency and passion. When combined into orange, it's joy and enthusiasm. So it's not exactly like, oh my god, this one thing means like exactly that. Just you get. Gray is a very interesting color. A lot of people like to use it because they're like, oh, it's plain and matches everything, but it's also very neutral. So if you're using gray, you're also subconsciously driving away the importance of the words that you are trying to make sound important away from the words itself, and therefore a person's brain is like ignoring the gray, and therefore if you're trying to mention something important, probably don't use gray to do it. Okay, font psychology, that is also a thing. There's 3 main fonts out there. Serif. Serif is like your Times New Roman. Sans serif, which is like normal plain Arial, and then script, which is like iDef. Don't use that. It looks cute on some things for Etsy maybe, but I would not use that for your listing. Essentially, the impact that font has, don't overthink it. It's literally how easy it is to process your listing. Like when I look at it, within 5 seconds, can I understand what I'm reading? Okay, another basic thing, file types and dimensions. So many people mess that up. I'll scroll through a listing and there's a vertical file, and then there's a square file, and then there's a big panorama file, and it personally messes with me, and I think if it messes with me, it messes with other people. Common Amazon files that Amazon accepts is JPEG and PNG. Always keep AI and PSD on file, because some of you will hire a designer and then you're like, okay, that's over with. And then you need to change something on your listing, but you can't because that designer is not replying to you. Now you need to go and get another designer because you don't have the AI files to get another designer to change them for you. I've struggled with that myself when I first started working for the agency, and I got yelled at for it. So don't make my mistake. Best resolution is PNG. Just make sure that you have the megabyte storage done properly. You can compress the files, because sometimes the PNG files will be really good resolution, but they'll take up so much storage, Amazon won't accept them either. Listing slides, so square slides, 2000 by 2000 pixels, works great every time. And then when you have A+ content, which is also known as your ABC, I'm going to give you guys this presentation later. I don't know, Braxton's going to provide it in some sort of way you guys can. How about that? Also, dimensions and requirements article. That one's like been very helpful for me when I first started working with our agency, because I always forgot. You could just scan that, and then it'll lead you to the article with all dimensions if you're not aware about that. Also, they're within your Amazon account, but if for some reason you don't want to be screenshotting all of that, sending it to your designer, you could just give them this. All right, Pantones, super important, because blue is not a Pantone. There's like thousands of blues out there, and most men won't get this, but women will. So they're the exact product colors. So the little codes that you see under that, when you go to a paint section at Home Depot, you see a bunch of different blues, a bunch of different pinks. That's your Pantones. Another great thing for why you need to be keeping Pantones is consistency for branding. So if you have brand colors and then you're creating products to match that brand, probably keep the Pantones on file. Plus, when you're creating a color scheme for your listing creation, you don't want to have like 2 different types of oranges for 2 different listings, because it's going to look odd. And another reason it's super important is because color can look different based on screen display. So like if I have my blue light management filter on, my colors are going to look different than somebody who does not have the blue filter on. But I can't just communicate that way to my suppliers. I can't just like take a screenshot and be like, hey, this is the color I want. Very important sentence, it's a little long, but Pantone process color numbers start with the letter P followed by 1 to 3 digit number, a dash, and 1 to 2 digit number. The C suffix indicates coded stock, and the U means uncoded. Very important when it comes to talking to suppliers, because trust me, 2 colors can look very different. And just make sure that when you are working with suppliers, ask for their Pantone numbers first because some of them work with different systems. Okay, I forgot to mention this, but at the end of every topic, I'm gonna have you guys do something to make sure that you guys pay attention. So I gave you 3 options for the color scheme to choose for this specific product, and I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to think about what option you think is best for the color scheme, and I'm gonna have you guys raise your hands for every single option. Has everybody seen the slide? Everybody? Okay. Who thinks option 1 would be the best color scheme? Option 2? Option 3? It's disappointing, guys, but that's okay. The best option is actually number 1, and I will explain why. So everybody can read this. It says Cool Moms Club. Who's the target audience for this tumbler? Wrong. Anybody that has a mom. A mom might buy this for herself, but probability is it's going to be a daughter, a son, anybody has a mom or knows a mom, right? Or like if you're in a mom club, sure. If you're going to be using all of those colors for your listing, don't. That's terrible. So then you're left with 2 options. We literally just went over color psychology. Blue is more like safety, trust, peace. Red, it's like red pinkish. See, screen display really matters because like for me, it looks a little bit more pinkish. But love and passion. You love your mother, subconsciously, you're gonna wanna see that color somewhere in there when it comes to the listing creation. You don't wanna be using, essentially what this is you wanna pick one of the colors on here so it's consistent and then use black and gray to make everything else look like not a circus. Nope, okay. This is what one of their slides looks like. If this doesn't disturb you, I don't know how it doesn't, but it definitely disturbs me. So think with the end in mind so your slides don't look like this because I can't even take this in. All right, main images. Now that we know the basics, everything else will make sense. All right, most common ones. I know Brandon Young, I don't know where he is right now, but he has one of the best main image matrices I've ever seen. And I actually think it made me cry at $1 Billion Seller Summit like 2 years ago. And trust me, it's one of the best things ever. So if you could come up to him and ask for it, I couldn't find it, but definitely ask him for it. Most common ones, obviously, just front product shot, white background, in use, feature call out. Feature call out just means, hey, you have a feature that's actually the main pain point of the product, and you find a way to show it on your main image. Variations, if you have any multiple angles, if you think that they're also important. Product setting, because sometimes if you're selling something like a shower curtain, if you just show a curtain on a white background and I can't really tell if it's for a living room or a shower, it's probably not a good idea. So Amazon will accept a setting product image if you can prove to them that it's more useful. And then using people in the image, obviously it's more lifestyle, but again, if you can prove to Amazon that it's more helpful for your consumers, you can obviously use it. All right, competitor testing. Has anybody heard of PickFu here? Okay, I'm glad. Okay, so some people. Can you guys raise your hands higher? That would be really nice. Okay, awesome. I saw way more people now. Okay, that's awesome. If you don't know about PickFu, you should definitely get an account. I will put a QR code up on here so you can create one easily so you don't have to look it up. But main thing, you don't want to be just be testing against yourself. You want to test against competitors that are relevant and that are the main competitors. A lot of people are super scared to test against people that are making like 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures a year because they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, they're big, it's fine, I'm not gonna win against them anyway. I want you to be brave enough to test against huge brands. If you're a soap brand, test against Dove. Like, it doesn't matter, I promise you, you can be better than them. Plus, PickFu gives you a lot of great feedback that you can reinforce back into your design. Like, it's not like, oh, I didn't win, that's it. That doesn't sound safe. but point being, test. What an effective main image looks like, right? It's different for every single product because there's some techniques you just can't use. But the main thing that I want you to think about is the pain point, right? That's what should go into the main image, right? This particular one shows product being in use, which allows us to show size proportion to a human being, packaging, which you can see over there. And then you're appealing to the target audience by showing the user of the product. So if I'm a mom and I have a son and my son is cute and I'm going to see this image, I'm like, I could see my son using this and I'm going to buy it. This product has like, I think they make like $300,000 a month. So it's a good main image. Okay, always have a backup. Amazon will not always be nice to you. So if you have an image like that, which obviously looks nicer because it's a lifestyle image, just have a backup. Because if you're going to be put in suppressed search, obviously people can't find you. They can't go in your listing. You're losing sales. Just because nothing is happening doesn't mean nothing bad is happening. So just always have a backup that's on a white background that you could put in instead of a really nice, significantly nicer one that Amazon did not accept. All right, another interaction. All right, there's 2 smoker whiskey sets, which, by the way, we were launching live last year, and obviously we were A/B testing before we were doing that. So I should probably put numbers on here, but we're gonna call this one main image number 1, and that one main image number 2. Who thinks that main image number 1 won this poll? Kind of hands higher, please. Awesome. Who thinks number 2? Okay, this is where I'm gonna say a quote that I love. My opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. The consumer opinion matters, because look at the split between these main images. It wasn't even 50-50. It was 90-10. And we obviously tested the target audience for the specific smoker set. So this is why you test. You might feel scared to test against them because they're making a lot of money and you're just launching. But heck, look what you can do. All right, copywriting. This is my thing. I mean, all of this is kind of my thing, but this is like my thing. This is the most powerful tool that you can use on your listing. All right, first things first. Again, kind of a little bit of basic stuff. Follow Amazon copywriting guidelines for your product first, because if you already created all of your inventory and then you put a word on there that's not compliant, you'll probably not even be able to run ads on it if you can see it on the main image. So check that. And then obviously check the copywriting for your listing, because there can be some words, even misspellings, Amazon might, but it might not be taken by Amazon. Like, we're currently launching a pickleball brand, and there's a term, dink, and even though it's a pickleball term, it was not accepted by Amazon because it sounds like what you know it sounds like. So grammar's important. All right, benefits versus pain points. This is such a common mistake, and I will explain why. But first, I'm going to tell you a little story. Again, if you have seen Brandon Young or are subscribed to his email list, you know he hosts Camp Ecom. This is me with a pile of money that I won, and I still have those ones all over my purses. But on the first day, we were all split around fire pits, and we were all just given a question, and we had to talk to other people about it. And question that our table got had something to do with branding, listing creation, and copywriting. And there was this guy at my table who had the thickest Russian accent of all time. And he said, listen, there's only 2 ways you can ever create listing, okay? There's wow and there's pain. You know what is better? And everybody's like, what? He's like, pain. Pain always works better. So for the sake for the sake of, see, this is the Russian accent continues. For the sake of making this more exciting, we're gonna go to vow versus paint. Here's vow examples. You're selling a tumbler. Double wall, scratch resistant, tight seal lid, BPA free, cute design. Okay, I don't care. Whatever. Pain examples. All right, my pain is that I don't like my coffee getting lukewarm after 20 minutes. So it being double wall means that I never have to drink lukewarm coffee ever again. It being scratch resistant, who cares? Like, what am I going to scratch my own tumbler? No, but it does keep my tumbler good as new for years to come, because I don't want to be walking around with a shabby looking tumbler. Tight seal lid, also don't really know what that means to me, because what am I going to be turning it over all the time? But avoid accidental spills and office disasters. And then you put in a lifestyle image of somebody who's like freaking out over spilling their coffee over their keyboard, but it's actually not a problem because your tumbler works. BPA free. How many of you guys know what BPA means? That's what I thought. Okay. But BPA is actually a dangerous plastic that if you consume, it's probably not the best thing ever. But you could just say all the good and none of the bad. And then I'm like, oh, BPA is not a good thing for me. So I'm glad this is BPA free. And then if I just say cute design, okay. But you could do a lifestyle image just as something like boring, not you. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not boring. I want to walk around looking nice and cute. So pain, again, matters. You have to understand your audience. I can't stress this enough, but some people will put, like, they'll sell a supplement for arthritis, and then they'll put like an 18-year-old on the main image. I'm like, oh, well, what are you doing? Like, I'm not, an 18-year-old is not going to be buying this. So I want you to think of environment, lifestyle, routine, beliefs, family, occupation, income, culture, because all of that sums up to be buying behavior. Like, that is what's in my head when I'm trying to purchase your product. All right, here's something, brutal truth. You want to put everything on your listing, it's great, but people don't have time for you, all right? They have their own stuff to deal with. That was my mom like 10 years ago? No, not 10, I was already 8 by then. Like 15 years ago, that was her. So she could care less what you had to say about your Tumblr. So just keep it really brief, harmonious, 3 to 5 short bullet points. I'm not saying 3 sentences. And use icons and graphics where you can, because you have an icon that is directly divided by the words that you're using. I'm like, I can tell by looking at the graphic. All right, don't do this. I don't know if I have to say anything more than that. Just don't. Like, this is cool. And by the way, this Tumblr has over 17,000 reviews on Amazon, which is insane. And this is why I'm telling you, test against the main competitors, because you can beat them, because you can do better than that. This exact, like, first of all, format is not how it's supposed to be. I won't be able to read this on desktop, and it'll probably look a little better on my phone. But what am I going to sit there for 1 minute and read everything that this person has to say about their Tumblr? No. All right, text image harmony. This is another big one. I remember turning off my mic. I was at BDSS 2 years ago, and Anthony Confrancesco was talking about the 5-second test, which is essentially, after looking at the slide for 5 seconds, can I tell you exactly the purpose that this slide is supposed to have? And if the answer is no, it's a bad slide. Like, that's just kind of how brutal I want you to be with yourself. So that's what not to do, right? It says easy, clean, and splash-proof lid. That is not shown anywhere on this image, all right? I can see the gift box. I can see the steel straws. Superior material and finishing, okay. But it's a lot of words, doesn't really correspond to the main image. I would literally have a slide specifically for this pain point. But the same person had another great slide. We talked about capacity, weight, and it was cap holder friendly because it was in reference to the dimensions of the Tumblr. clean, very nice. I get it. This is bad. All right, interactions. I want you to convince me to buy this iPhone 15 phone case. Has anybody bought the iPhone 15 yet? No, nobody in this room has gotten the iPhone 15. Okay, we have one person. Nobody else. All right, that's fine. But to make it easier for you, I want you to list what you think the top 5 pain points are for this product. I just kind of gave it away. I hope you guys could not rate fast enough. But what do you think is like the main pain point ever? And don't overthink it. I just need like one person, guys. This is a phone case. Huh? Broken screen? Okay, so protective. That's pain point number 2, actually. What do you think is pain point number 1? Transparent? That's a benefit. You remember when we talked about benefit and pain points? What's a pain point? I'm shopping for a phone case. What's the biggest reason if I get this phone case, I will return it immediately without putting it on? Doesn't fit, correct. Compatibility. Did you say it, Sean? Yeah, I said it, yeah. It doesn't fit, guys. Compatibility is a huge one. And you can communicate that through your listing by saying, hey, that's this phone does not fit this phone. Because if somebody returns it, it gets upset with you and writes a bad review, you're like, hey, I pointed out on my listing, sorry. And you could get that taken down. What about other ones? Okay, so we have compatibility, we have protection, right, which is like one of the main reasons that we get a phone case. Any other ones? Come on, guys, you all use phone cases. This is upsetting. Anybody? Okay, I have a phone case right here. Looks ugly? My phone case looks ugly? But that's a good one. Yeah, and aesthetics is another one. I want my phone case to look cute. You did mention it being clear, though, which does have something to do with one of the other pain points. I don't know if it being clear leads it to having like an extra function, which, all right, compatibility, protection, stylish. You said my phone case looks ugly. Durability, right? And then it being clear allows you to put stuff inside that you can immediately see and show to other people. All right, we're gonna put all of this together into a really nice looking listing. So like Sean Hart mentioned, I competed at a bodybuilding competition last week. Yeah. And you essentially come there to be judged for everything that you've done and all the work that you've done for the last year or so. And all of you guys, I'm sure, have worked really hard on your product, talked to your suppliers, put a bunch of effort into it, and you make it look really good, and then you put it up on Amazon to be judged by others. So in order to look presentable, there's things that I had to do besides killing myself in the gym and with a diet every single day for 7 months straight, which was my hair, my makeup, my suit, my spray tan, which is like so hard to take off, and heels. Because without all of that, I wouldn't have had a look that's comparable well enough to all the other competitors over there. So I don't know why this one isn't showing up, but you also have to get jewelry. Okay, consistency. This is a really big one. Your listing slides need to be consistent with your A+ content. Like order, the people that you're showing, the color scheme that you're using, the fonts that you're using, because one of people's biggest fears is fear of the unknown and not knowing what comes next. If you're showing them something that's very similar to what you've shown them before, you're taking away that fear and you're calming them down in the back of their head, because now they don't have to adapt their brain to a new structure and new design, and they can easily follow it. And if you could show that you could be high quality and consistent with your listing, it's directly correlated to how consistent you are with your product quality. Does that make sense? Hope it does. All right, same font throughout, same color scheme. Image lighting. I don't want to see a super nice and warm and cozy image, and then the next one is like super cold, like Twilight. And similar people, obviously. All right, this is what consistency looks like. This one's a little bit out there for me, but they are consistent with their color scheme and their fonts that they're using for their slides and their EBC. So I don't have to be going crazy over, oh my gosh, wait, like, am I looking at the right product anymore? This is lack thereof, because I'm seeing a new background, new font, which looks really bad. Remember what I called script death, like eye death? That's what this is. And they also put it at the bottom, which, like, keep in mind, like when you're scrolling, especially on your phone, your thumb closes off half of the bottom anyway. And they could also get in trouble for this because they're utilizing Apple's font here, which has a license. So don't do that. Slide order matters, okay? You have the main keywords that people look up when they search for your product. I want you to put that on the first slide after the main image and somehow integrate it into a sentence. For example, I'm shopping for a gym bag, all right? And the main keyword is gym bag for women. Probably the second slide that I should be putting on there would be like, gym bag for women, a gym bag for you. And now that I know that the brand is talking directly to me. Confirmation. What confirmation means is, okay, I clicked on your listing, and now I have confirmation inside of my heart that I actually found the exact product that I was looking for. Then you're going to be talking about the main pain points, right? We talked about pain. Less important pain points, helpful content like care instructions, setup tips, usage tips. Very important. Like if you have, I have low battery. Just hope this doesn't die. That's fine. If you have certain things about your product that is normally a reason for a return, turn that negative into a positive. Like if you have fabric that consistently that bends during shipment, give care instructions to bring that fabric back to life, so people don't think it's like, oh my gosh, it's a terrible product, I'm going to return it because I don't know how to put the fabric back the way it's supposed to be. All right, and the last one, if you have space for this, is UGC, which is user-generated content. I know Gracie's going to be talking about it later. And big emotional appeal. So something to just tie everything together, like at a table during Thanksgiving. I don't know. All right, guidance is very important. Designers and copywriters are not going to know what to do if you don't tell them what to do. They're not Amazon sellers for a reason, all right? But they have the skill set to do what needs to be done. So skills do not equal vision. You can have written guidance. Is this my sign to shut up? No? Okay. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. Written guidance and visual guidance. I suggest to do both. This was actually generated by Midjourney. So I will talk about that a little bit later, probably if I have time. I don't know. So written guidance is important. I want to tell my designer exactly what image to put on there. And I also want to give them kind of a layout of what I want to see. So just a Google Doc document, not a good idea. Right? We trust people that look like us way more than we trust the brand that's trying to sell to us. So if your target audience is women, white women that are aged 20 to 30 years old, just got married and love to cook, that should probably be something that you should be looking at, because it appeals to me because I can see myself in that image using your product. All right, interaction. I'm going to give you guys like 1 minute to do this. I want you to arrange the following slides in the right order. There's 7. You can write the numbers down because the next slide that I'm going to go to is going to show the exact right order of what this is. Or we could actually just go through this together. What do you think should be the first slide? We talked about the first thing being confirmation that I found exactly what I was looking for. I'm shopping for a pickleball set. What's the first slide that I'm like, okay, I found exactly what I needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3? Okay, perfect. Okay, the next thing that's one of the most important things in the set is the paddle. So this should be my second one. All right, Another part of the paddle that's also a very big pain point is the handle. So that will be my third one. There's certain things that are not a pain, people don't realize is a pain until you tell them that it's a pain. And those you kind of want to be putting towards the end because it's kind of like an Easter egg. So the paddle being lighter than most other paddles is something you don't really think about, but you're like, I probably don't want to swing something that's super heavy. And then we talk about grip tapes, the pickleball balls, and then just emotional appeal to people. So, and that's it. Did I step on something? For safety reasons? Wow. Well, you live and you learn. Oh well. So dink, you can do it because we do. Amazon did not allow us to use the word dink. Oh well, but it's a pickable term. So if you could find terms within your niche that appeal to your audience, use them. And this is the order, which starts to make sense to you once you look at it a little longer. All right, proper hiring. We're gonna kind of go through this really fast. Designers, all right, you want to find somebody who has experience with design tools, realistic Photoshop skills, because if you don't have money for photography and taking pictures of like 10 different people, you want to have somebody that can just Photoshop your product into an image and it look real. And they have an attractive portfolio. Anybody that doesn't take initiative to give you an attractive portfolio, you should just not hire. Because if they don't have initiative to do that, they're not going to have initiative to do other things for your business. Red flags, again, doesn't provide the portfolio or just gives design a bunch of separate Google Drive links, easily visible fake Photoshop, and plain Canva looking design. Copywriters, all right, they need to have experience with copywriting for listing creation specifically. And they normally should create copywriting in the presentation format with a layout in mind. So like the layout that I showed you earlier, they should probably think about that. I'm at time. Okay. Do you want me to shut up? I'll shut up. That's fine. 2 minutes? Okay. If they use just ChatGPT for their copywriting, red flag. Just don't. Like, so that's like my main one. And again, if they don't ask for your target avatar or product details, probably don't use them. You still have a responsibility to give them the information that they need, because you can't be blaming the designer for not giving you what you want if you don't give them the resources to do so. So product details, brand details, product design files, photos, fonts, Pantones, target audience description, and the main competitor list are the main things that your designer and copywriters need to have in order to create something that's of high quality for you. All right, we're not gonna go through this. This was my interaction thing of like what designers and copywriters you would hire. But you could take a picture of this, so you could scan this later. But this is to create a Pixel account. Costs you absolutely nothing. You only pay when you run the polls themselves. Dimension requirements and then copywriting guidelines. You don't have to read them, just give them to your copywriter. For future questions, if you come up with something after this presentation, because we clearly do not have a time for Q&A, which is my bad, you could just scan this and then join our Q&A chat. And that is it. And that is my full contact info. Wow, I can't read anymore. That is my full contact info. And that is my name, which you know because Sean Hart said my name. Thank you so much for listening. I know I was kind of everywhere. If you couldn't tell, that's my mother. That's my mom right there.